Well, anyway, this next team could be argued to be one of the bigger disappointments in the league, and it's the Celtics. As we're recording this, they're in the bottom 12 of points scored per possession on offense, and there's so many things wrong with their offense. But I'm looking at just their effective field goal percentage, which combines 2 and 3 point efficiency on wide open jumpers outside 10 feet. It's 50.4. That is low. It's 27th in the league. And when you just couple that with the fact that they're a bottom 5 team when it comes to the frequency with which their share of the shots come at the rim, you start to have some really big offensive problems. You're reliant on the perimeter, and yet you're not shooting like these great clips from them. And some of the biggest culprits that factor into this stat is Al Horford shooting 30.9% on wide open threes. Dennis Schroeder, an effective field goal percentage of 33.9 on wide open jumpers in general. He's shooting 21.1 on wide open 2-point jumpers and 25% on wide open threes. And then Marcus Smart, he's shooting 33.3% on wide open 2-pointers. Not a huge sample size. They account for a very small percentage of his shots, but this is just a team that's not even necessarily getting a ton of easy shots. And then they're not even consistently making some of the easy shots that they are taking. And they are finishing well at the rim. They just don't get there a ton. And so when you kind of factor it in with some turbulent 3-point shooting from Jayson Tatum, the level of difficulty on his looks, I get it, but I think he's done a better job getting to the rim and finishing through contact over the past couple of weeks. But their offense they have the talent to be better than 18th, 19th in points scored per possession. And again, there's a lot of inconsistencies factored in here, but you do have some really key players not hitting some of their higher quality looks on the season.
I would expect some improvement there just as things regress to the mean, but I also don't know that I'm that surprised given the construction of this roster, because ultimately, like, who are you relying on as deadly perimeter shooters? You've got Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but they're subject to so much defensive attention that it's harder to get those high quality looks off because the pieces around them just aren't conducive to drawing defensive attention. You know, a lot of the names you mentioned, Marcus Smart, Dennis Schroeder, Al Horford, these aren't guys who we should expect to be knockdown shooters. Granted, they should be hitting at a higher clip than they are on these wide open looks, but I'm not that surprised by this one, just because it seems like if Boston was going to have an Achilles heel, this is exactly what it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, another Aaron Nesmith, 22.2% on wide open threes. They just have guys that are supposed to be shooting better than they are in the rotation that are not. I mean, even when you look at some of the wide open 3-point clips, like this is Peyton Pritchard, 34.1% on wide open threes. Like he hasn't had a good year to begin with, but that's not great. Jaylen Brown has done his part there, but like Jayson Tatum, you probably want him. He's not getting a ton of wide open threes, and 37.5% is higher than his clip for the season from deep, but that's even just on wide open threes. I'm just saying that's probably around league average. I haven't looked at the league average mark. And so you'd hope some of these guys are eclipsing those marks. I don't know if I've hoped for Boston's offense to be much better than this on the season, though. I think if you told me that they'll finish in the bottom 10, I'll say that they'll be better than that. But if you're going to tell me that they're going to finish in the top 13, I'm probably going to take the under. Whereas I think they're going to be below league average or around there.